Hello and welcome to another edition of Today I Learned. This is the segment where either Amir or myself will present 3 new things that the other one has learned to the other. That was a confusing way of explaining that, but you guys know how this works. I presented last week, so Amir, tell me something new.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you 3 things new.
Good, that's you have to.
Yeah,
that's how it works. It's a segment.
Okay, shut up. So the first one, there is several companies actually that have formed, and basically what they do is after loved ones have passed away, they are cremated and then their ashes are turned into diamonds.
Ooh. What?
Those are diamonds made from a person's ashes. It's really interesting, actually. So one of these companies, the CEO of it, Ronaldo Willie, says that each year the remains of between 800 and 900 people enter their facility, and about 3 months later, they exit as diamonds, and they're kept in a box returned to jewelry.
For the family?
For the family.
Okay, I was
yeah,
like...
not like for like to be sold. I didn't think about that.
Dark, really
that would be
quick.
really dark if that's what they did. But you know, like diamonds are like synthetically made for the most part, and like the value of diamonds is actually completely fabricated and inflated to help the market.
Yeah, I hope if you guys don't know a little bit about that, you can pretty much just search diamonds inflation and that'll be broken down for you.
Yeah, but so most of the stones actually come out blue, and
I noticed that in the photo.
Yeah, and that's because the human body contains trace amounts of boron, an element that may be involved in bone function.
What did you call me?
Boron. Okay. Not moron, like I usually call you. And occasionally the diamonds come out white, yellow, or close to black. And Willie, the CEO, is not sure why, even though I feel like that's BS. He probably does know why.
He doesn't know why?
Yeah, he's just saying that. He's like, he wants to make it mysterious because he says like every diamond from each person is slightly different. It's always a unique diamond.
Man, I went into this being like, I don't think I would want to participate, but I'm very intrigued now.
I kind of like it.
I'm sure it's very expensive.
Like I've been like shifting like what I would want to do with myself like after I passed, and I think cremation is the way to go for me.
What else were you considering? Mummification? What else was in the running?
I have a feeling like mummification is gonna come back like hot.
It's not. I can tell you as someone who has seen a lot of mummies photos, it's not.
Why have you seen?
Because I look up stuff on the internet. Like you don't. You've seen mummies. You know what a mummy looks like.
I know, but you've seen like a lot. Like you're like that's a thing.
I've seen a lot. I'm also reading a book right now on the murder of King Tut. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So mummies.
The whole process costs between $5,000 and $22,000. So about the same as like a funeral would cost.
A funeral would cost $22,000? Yeah. I guess you're right.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money.
Doesn't
a casket.
But think about this. Doesn't it feel
starts
like
at like the 5,000s?
Doesn't it feel like a funeral should be free? I know it's not, but doesn't it feel like it? I remember just almost about a year ago, my best friend's mom passed away. Went back for the funeral, and funerals are very cathartic and bizarre and sad, but also kind of this all-encompassing feeling of whatever. And the weirdest part about it was getting into the finance of how you pay for a funeral, and it just feels like the funeral.
It's a terrible industry.
That they should be like, it's okay, you lost your mom.
It's on the house.
Yeah, it's on the house. But they can. It's a business.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, let's move on. So, what are these?
Sideburns.
Yes. And have you ever?
Well, you don't have them.
Have you? I don't.
They're trimmed right now.
Okay.
You got a haircut.
Anyway, and you've never wondered like where that name came from? I'm about to tell you. So there was an American soldier, railroad executive, inventor, industrialist. And I love how people from like before the 1900s were everything.
Yeah, but you know that in that day and age, that was the same as saying he was an influencer. Like, I'm a industrial railroad developer.
He was all about the likes.
Yeah. They were like, okay, sure.
Anyway, this man, Ambrose Everett Burnside, he was an American Civil War general.
Oh my gosh, he's so cool.
For the Union, actually. Yeah, look at him. And like, obviously you can see like he had very interesting hair.
Fresh.
Yeah,
good
super
style.
fresh. His distinctive facial hairstyle became known as sideburns because his name was Burnside. And that's what they would call him. They would call him Burnsides for a long time. And then they were like, you know, this sounds kind of weird. Let's like change the syllables around. Sideburns.
Can we pull up a photo of him again? That same photo from before? Those are mutton chops, right? Aren't those mutton chops?
I guess that's a bad picture because from the description,
sideburns are right. You know, sideburns are here. I can give myself sideburns. You know, just like well, like just wait. Oh, here we go.
Those aren't sideburns.
All right, this side will work better. There we go.
There we go. I'd argue that those look more like mutton chops.
That's sideburns, basically. And if I were to like pull them out over, but mutton chops are the ones that are like right here.
Yeah. That might be a bad picture of him, but
yeah, your story sucks.
Yeah, no, that's where it came from, and it makes sense because his name was Burnsides.
That is interesting.
And they should.
I learned that.
All right, last thing that I learned that maybe you're gonna learn. So the biggest currency in prison, it used to be cigarettes for the longest time, and like you know, like from all the movies that you see, it's like oh, everyone's trading cigarettes. It's actually not cigarettes anymore. It's ramen noodles.
I did know that actually.
You did know that. How did you know that?
Because I watch a lot of prison stuff. It's again like with the mummification. You know, it's what I research. And don't act like it's weird. You guys all know this.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's really fascinating, and it's also kind of sad. The American Sociological Association did a study on this, and the study author Michael Gibson Light said that throughout the nation we observe prison cost cutting and cost shifting, as well as changes in the informal economic practices of inmates. Services are cut back, and many costs are passed on to inmates in an effort to respond to calls to remain both tough on crime and cost effective. So basically, because prisons are racing to offer the best value for the cheapest price, there's major budget cuts, and the first place that these cuts are made is prison resources, particularly in the food. So as a result, ramen noodles of all things have become a staple to be used as currency. And prisoners are so unhappy with the quality and quantity of the prison food that they start relying on ramen noodles to get the calories they need to feel okay in any given day.
And I think also, whether or not you want to admit it, let's be real, ramen noodles do taste good.
They do. And so like I was going through Reddit and like reading comments about people who have been in prison who have experienced all of this and like how they would go about it. And it's crazy like how crafty they get because they have all this time on their hands. So like they'll get a packet of ramen noodles, they'll put hot sink water in it, and then like they'll put like the plastic bag over it and then let it sit for like half an hour until like it gets like really good, and then they'll eat it and they'll be like, wow, this is the best thing that I've had. Like
I believe it. I totally believe it.
Another thing that is really big in some of the prisons from some of the people that were like ex-cons, we're talking about honey buns.
Oh yeah.
Honey buns, Little Debbie, stuff like that. And this one guy was saying like people would make these layered bars of honey buns and Little Debbies and all these different things where they would take like maybe like 40 of them, put them on top of each other, stack books on top to smash them all together to make like this little layer bar, and then they would sell that for like a lot of money. Because like one bite of that is a ton of calories, it'll keep you full.
And it also does sound good.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to admit that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I love Reddit. There was another story that maybe we'll cover on the show tomorrow about a dad reaching out to the Reddit community for help on relating to his son who's a big fan of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, I didn't hear about
So
this.
Reddit it can be, like with all things on the internet, it can be awful, but a lot of times it's pretty awesome, and it sounds like, I don't know, I think it's great as a resource, and it's a good way of connecting with people who have been through some stuff.
Totally, there's a lot of
out new
cool
things.
information there that you'll get from real people.
Yeah, it's part of why we started this segment. That's gonna do it for today's show. I think we covered a whole bunch of stuff. I'm trying to think of how I can fill the last 10 seconds.
You're getting a new tattoo.
I am getting a new tattoo. Stay tuned for that in the next week or so.
And stay tuned,
You'll be
we have
filling in
new
this
merch
little-
for Murder with Friends as well.
We have merch for Murder with Friends so much, but that's
More
gonna do it
information about
for
that.
today. We'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.